Well, we're going to stay with our roading coverage. SABC News correspondent Nick Harper brings us the latest from Washington at this hour. Talk to us a little bit more, Nick, and thank you for your time. SA time, of course. Operation Epic Fury. What's, being used to justify what transpired to domestic, to international audiences alike? How clear is the end game for Washington as we're speaking?
Well, completely opaque. I must admit that endgame is simply not clear at this stage. Donald Trump, in his latest social media post, suggested that this could be a very long-running campaign. He is urging Iranians to take control of their country, urging that regime change that the United States and Israel privately have wanted for many, many years. In some comments, Donald Trump even suggesting that this US military campaign could continue through the week, potentially longer. But really, he's putting the ball in the Iranians' court because he said it's all down to them. If they continue this retaliation, the United States will need to continue striking Tehran and other cities throughout Iran. So I think really part of that US calculation will be how Iran continues to respond. And we know that we are now day 2 of this conflict and Iran is continuing to retaliate. It says that its territorial sovereignty has been violated. Of course, we know the Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Ali-Khamenei, has been killed, and therefore Iran feels it's justified in its response, targeting at least 5 US bases in 5 different countries throughout the Middle East. Israel continuing its aerial assault today. We're waiting really for more plans from the United States to make it a little bit clearer about what it intends to do. But the US president, from his perspective, is making it clear that the US wants to do everything it can to degrade Iran's nuclear and ballistic missile program. And as part of that, it definitely wants to see a change of leadership inside Iran. The killing of the Ayatollah makes a tremendous difference, a seismic change within Iran. Will the Iranian people, as the US president has asked them to do, rise up now against the authorities to take control of their country after 37 years with the Ayatollah at the top?
In Washington, but what's the US public opinion? What sentiments are being echoed on that front, perhaps even the political elites at this point? The obviously implications for the upcoming elections, the broader US foreign policy as well. What can be reflected at this point in real time?
Well, I think what the US is now engaged in is 2 different campaigns. A military campaign, we know that that is continuing in the Middle East, but also now a public relations campaign. The US president made it clear throughout the whole of Saturday that he was trying to make the world safer, not just the Middle East, but make American lives safer. He said his aim was peace for the Middle East, for America and for all of its allies. But really, he needs to continue selling that message to Americans, because we knew going into this military action, according to polling, that the vast majority of Americans did not want to see military action. They didn't trust the US president when it came to any military calculations in the Middle East. And therefore, many Americans have responded with tremendous worry. We've seen anti-war protesters out on the streets of major cities. And as you mentioned, we are heading towards that midterm election in November. Donald Trump is not on the ballot, but dozens of lawmakers are. And the Republicans who currently control the House of Representatives, the Senate, and of course the White House might see that change if that public sentiment against the military action continues to build. The high likelihood is that with Republicans supporting the military action, voters out there might simply vote them out of office in those midterm elections. And I think Democrats now know that. They're trying to capitalize on that anti-war sentiment to do what they can. And we already know that plenty of Democrats are furious on Capitol Hill because they say the US president took this military action without congressional approval. And in the coming days on Capitol Hill, they will be putting resolutions to a vote, a war powers resolution, to try and curb the president's ability to take this unilateral action, to stop him from carrying out any more strikes on Iran without the say-so of Congress.
Nick, it's going to be interesting to see the engagements between Russia and China as well. Well, our time has come to an end. Thank you for weighing at this hour. We'll continue to monitor developments alongside you as it continues. SABC News correspondent Nick Harper, they're joining us from Washington with the latest update. We're looking at that Middle East conflict and really read you from here.